In a game like Smash Ultimate, tier lists can be misleading. It's easy for 80 character gaps and tier placements to overshadow the fact that most characters have strong tools. And while characters ranked highly are often perceived to outclass the low tiers, this isn't always the case. Sometimes disregarded low tiers have the potential to utilize their unique strengths to turn assumedly terrible matchups into even or winning ones. Last year, I highlighted the use case for Donkey Kong as a secondary for his even and winning matchups against many of the top tiers. Even though he's ranked just outside the bottom 15 and has many hard losing matchups, his strengths in neutral and advantage have allowed him to fight against all the odds and claw his way into meta relevance. How could we have ignored his ability to perform at the top level? And more importantly, what other characters have we long written off? Today, I want to dive even deeper into the depths of the tier list. I want to explain how a bottom tier may be able to overcome all odds and community expectations to go toe-to-toe with the most over-centralizing top tier of Smash Ultimate. I want to talk about Piranha Plant.
We are back into the game of Super Smash Brothers. Okay, good dash attack.
Guys, remember, even matchup.
Even matchup, true. If Lucky can do it, so can you.
Exactly. Believe in yourself.
Oh my god!
What?
Oh!
Right now, the Smash community largely views the Steve matchup as hard losing for Piranha Plant. Most Steve players agree, like Onan, who places him in +2. Akola, the most consistent Steve, views the matchup as +1. And there's a lot of good reasons for the matchup favoring Steve. This matchup is very hard for Plant. It requires very careful play, which can be draining in bracket. Mistakes also cost a lot in the matchup. Steve's advantage state is stronger versus Plant than most of the cast. This is because he has a big hurt box and is tied for second fastest fall speed in the game, only behind Fox. This makes Steve's already broken advantage state even stronger and makes Plant easy to combo. Plant falls victim to Steve's jab trains, and TNT ledge traps are very difficult to get around, although not impossible. There's a solid case for Steve winning the matchup, but let's examine it more closely and see if Plant has the tools to combat him. In Straw Hat Zelda's video Diddy Kong Beats Steve, he lays out the things Steve struggles to deal with. First on the list is breaking walls effectively, which Piranha Plant excels at. Plant is able to quickly break the bottom block with down tilt, or use Poison Breath to shred the wall. Poison Breath also allows Plant to obscure his approach option and mix up how he will punish Steve for mining, which makes it especially strong. The second strength listed is ability to ignore walls. While Plant's average speed makes it difficult for him to approach Steve behind a wall through the air, Patooey can actually be thrown over the wall to hit Steve anywhere behind him. When Steve is hit or reacts to Patooey, Plant is given enough time to break the wall and attempt to punish Steve. The third strength listed is the ability to outmaneuver Steve in neutral. While Piranha Plant has just average movement stats, he still significantly outclasses Steve. He also has a quick and far-reaching dash attack, which allows Plant to threaten Steve from far away. While Plant generally can't use Patooey in neutral against most characters, Steve is slow enough for Patooey to be safe, making it a strong projectile in neutral. And the Spallow technique allows Plant to reduce his first actionable frame of Patooey in half. This makes the move much less laggy, allowing for better approaches and combos. Patooey and Poison Breath also beat Minecart, making it much less effective in neutral. Plant can also use Poison Breath in neutral without walls, which makes his approach options ambiguous. With these tools, Plant's able to play the mid-range. This is where Steve generally mines behind wall or uses minecart. Both options drain him of resources, all while Plant threatens to attack safely outside of Steve's burst range. And while Steve does have stronger boxing, Plant's is pretty good too. He has one of the best jabs in the game. It's frame 2 and sets up for tech chases in advantage state. You'll also see Fair and Nair be used a lot. Fair has good range and is fairly quick, while Nair has an active hitbox for option coverage and can be dragged down into jab or comboed from. He also has strong anti-airs, like his invincible up tilt and Patooey to stuff out aerial approaches. The fourth strength listed is killing easier, and while Steve wins out in this regard, Plant is no slouch in advantage state. Plant has low effort, high damage combos and Poison Breath, allowing him to easily rack up damage. He has a good grab game, with a down throw that combos and an up throw that kills. He also has good juggles, with up air and Patooey and the rare down B for reads. One of Plant's biggest strengths is his top tier ledge trapping, which is one of the strongest positions and win conditions in the game. Combined with his top-notch edge guarding and good kill power through his strong attacks and up throw, Plant has no problem closing out stocks. And while Steve has an amazing punish game, Plant has some useful tools and disadvantage. He's the 9th heaviest character in the game, which makes Steve's strong attacks less threatening for Plant than most characters. By abusing his weight, Plant is able to live to higher percents. Plant also has good aerial stalls while being juggled or off stage. Patui can threaten a reversal and be cancelled quickly, Down B can armor through attacks, and Poison Breath can be B-reversed for movement mix-ups. With these options, Plant does better in disadvantage than you might think. Theory is all well and good, but how does Plant do against Steve in practice? Let's look at Lucky, the best Piranha plant in North America, and the best plant against Steve in the world. He has a positive win rate against Steve, and even punches above his weight class in the matchup. He's brought Syrup and Own into Game 5, and kept up well with Akola. Lucky seems to be fairly confident in the matchup when he's playing well, but I don't know how good he actually thinks it is. And Brood, the former best plant in Japan, thinks it's -1. While the current best plant in Japan, Tasu, has a 0-2 record against Japanese Steve main 33 Parenbox. While the matchup definitely isn't easy, when played properly, I think Plant can keep up well with Steve. He has the ability to pressure Steve in neutral with dash attack, Patui, and dealing well with walls. While he gets comboed hard, Plant's high weight allows him to survive in situations most other characters cannot. And his high damage output, alongside his strong juggle game, edge guarding, and ledge trapping, allow him to squeeze out wins against the perennial top tier. I hope my arguments have been compelling and made you reconsider your opinions on viability in matchups. Hopefully, this can remind us that the gap in tiers is not as big as we sometimes make it out to be.